Hi there, you beautiful people. My name is Ruben. Welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. Today I'm diving into Netflix's new limited series, American Primeval. 6 hours of raw, brutal, and unrelenting storytelling that takes us straight into the heart of 1857 America, where survival is everything. From director Peter Berg and creator Mark L. Smith, this series is an absolute beast. But is it worth your time? Let's get into it. The cinematography and atmosphere. Right off the bat, the cinematography in American Primeval is stunning and bleak all at the same time. Shot in the rugged landscapes of Santa Fe, New Mexico, the visuals are gritty and immersive. Jacques Joffre and Lula Carvalho capture a world is as dangerous as the people roaming it. You can feel the dust in their throat and hear the howling wind at night. It's really that good. And let's not forget the score. Explosions in the sky provided an eerie, almost spiritual undertone that lingers in your bones long after the credits roll. This is not their first time working with director Peter Berg either. Long Survivor and Friday Night Lights are two of the previous works that they worked together. So here we get the benefit of a well-oiled creative machine, and that pays massive dividends here on the score, which is so complimentary for the setting and the themes of this show. There are some exciting camera shots, especially when it comes to action sequences. Some might find this a bit off-putting. I just found it very creative, and I thought that these scenes placed me in the world more. For example, a shot of a wagon wheel, low down towards the side, medium shot, wide range, even a camera flying straight through the wagon, for example. You won't find these camera angles in your everyday Western story. Does this detract from the story itself? Not for me, but for some, they might have some issues on the creativity and authentic nature of the camera angles that need to be used for a Western. I was talking to Chris from Movies and Munchies, and he had some issues with that. I'll be interested to hear what he thought at the end of the series. The cast and their performances. This is one of those ensembles where every single actor brings their A game. Tyler Kitsch leads as Isaac, a man so broken and full of rage that you can't help but be mesmerized by his descent. He's unpredictable, tragic, and captivating. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but he is a man of action. There are these beautiful moments where we see Tyler interact with a young co-star, a sort of father-mentor figure. These moments help to humanize his character. Otherwise, he could come across as a character with no real depth. His character could have easily become that grumpy, gruff character, but here, through character interactions and subtle emotional acting, his character has layers. I've got a lot of time for Tyler, and this will just go into that list of characters that I think he's nailed. Then we have Betty Gilpin as Sarah Rowell, a mother on the run with her son. She brings an emotional core to the chaos, and her chemistry with her younger co-star is very real, very authentic. I could have done with some more background on her story, as we are only ever given the inciting incident that kind of drives their journey to go on this harrowing journey. In fact, we don't know a lot about any of these characters, really. The story is more about the events of what happened through the eyes of a select few. I'm not sure we needed more, but I would have liked more, maybe. And then let's talk about Dane DeHaan, who plays Jacob Pratt, a Mormon leader trying to find peace in a world that offers none. His performance is restrained but powerful at first, and then unhinged. And I feel like this is such a DeHaan role that we should now call it the DeHaan. He did a DeHaan. Also, Sora Lightfoot Leon as Abish Pratt. She is incredible. She has one of the most harrowing arcs, and I won't spoil it, but trust me, you get a few gut punches with her story. I think her story was my favorite. The strength her character exudes is tangibly displayed by an actress knocking it out of the park. The story is emotional and challenging, and she could have easily played it differently. But through great directing by Peter Berg and a grounded real performance, I was riveted every time she was on screen. Then we get Derek Hinkey as Red Feather, a Shoshone warrior with some of the series' most intense scenes. His presence is commanding, and his interactions with Abish are some of the show's most layered moments. He plays a warrior, a father, and a leader in a world that just wants him and his people to die. His presence on screen always demanded my attention. I just wish we had more screen time with Derek. So the story and themes. American Primeval is not an easy watch. This is dark and violent and unapologetic. It's not your typical Western, it's a survivalist nightmare where cultures, religions, and ideologies clash in the bloodiest way possible. If you're expecting a feel-good redemption arc, you're not going to get that here. Instead, this series shows just how brutal America's past truly was. The writing is sharp as well, and the dialogue feels authentic. Mark L. Smith, who also worked on The Revenant, knows how to make you feel the weight of this world. The pacing can be slow at times, but that only adds to the tension it builds like a storm. And when it finally hits, it is really hard. Talking of which, the action and brutality. So, oh boy, this show does not hold back on the violence. If you thought 1883 was brutal, think again. American Primeval delivers some of the most intense action sequences I've seen. The battle scenes, ambushes, and one-on-one fights are visceral and uncomfortably realistic. Huge props to the stunt team and the fight coordinators, because every blow, every arrow, every musket shot fired feels real. Peter Berg knows how to craft realistic action sequences. Have a look at Lone Survivor or the very underrated The Kingdom. That is what we get here, with more brutal action scenes with real people. I also want to point out that these aren't sound stages. They filmed on locations in weather that's not great. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into post-production. But because we get on location acting, it just feels that much more authentic and real. Authenticity and cultural representation. One of the things I truly appreciate is the effort put into authenticity. With indigenous consultants like Julie O'Keefe and Chongqing language experts on board, there's a real commitment to representing the cultures depicted. It's rare to see this level of detail in a Western, and it makes all the difference when dealing with different cultures. The series doesn't paint anyone as purely good and evil. It shows the complexities of survival, power, and belief. Whether it's the Chongqing, the Ute, the Paiute, the Mormons, US Army, or outlaws, everyone has their reasons, and those reasons often lead to bloodshed. However, I do feel like the Mormons in particular come off more dirty than the rest in this story. So my final verdict is this. So is American Primeval worth your time? Absolutely. But it's not for the faint of heart. If you love shows like Deadwood or 1883 or even The Revenant, this is right up your alley. However, if you're looking for a hopeful, uplifting story, you might want to sit this one out. For me, it's a solid 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
You got one.
The performances, the direction, the sheer brutality make this one of Netflix's most substantial offerings in a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some awards buzz around this series. So let me know in the comments, what did you think? Will you be watching American Primeval? And as always, stay safe, stay awesome, and remember, live long on Tuesday.